Okay, we're making progress as we're going along. I've attached 2 fuel hoses underneath, and I'm currently just screwing in the adjustment screw for the throttle cable. And there's an adjustment to this that we'll do in a second. So what I'm going to do is same as what I did just now. Look to the hard part here is that you've got to get, there's a little stop there that it stops that from coming out when you are running. So you have to rotate that, keep that in line, and then it's a case of fiddly as you like. There we go. So you see how I've now got it stuck on the top side of the stop there. Let me see if I can get you a bit of light. It's just caught on the stop there. So now what I have to do is you should be popped out. So once again, get that lined up. And I'm just trying to, there we go, feed it in there. Oh, you, come on, you're better than this. There we go. And okay, and no, stay in there, stay in there. It's probably a hell of a lot harder one-handed. What I might do is just try and keep some pressure on it there and just pull the cable. Now I need to rotate past that annoying thing there and just get that so that it seats in. Come on, in you go. You're too good for your home. It's one of these classics. If I was by myself, just there we go. Doing it, I would have had it a few times. Okay, now this is where that adjustment comes in I was telling you about. If you take a look, okay, so I've got it full throttle, and you can see the valve moving there, the butterfly valve, and there's a gap. If I hold this, I'll point it out with my finger, just in there. Now that gap is what you take up with this adjustment here, so that it basically comes until that is literally at full throttle, just touching that thing. You don't want to overdo it, so I'm going to screw this out and then try it again. Black on black. Huh? No, it's cool. And that is still quite a bit of a gap there. I'm going to take some more out. And geez, that is literally just seating. So I'll give it a little turn and then aim to lock it up. And you do just go a little bit past, because when you lock it up, what will end up happening is you'll end up you'll tighten the whole body closer, and it will take up that slack. So that is now just touching perfectly. And then what will be the next adjustment is adjusting the idle. So first off, get your special screwdriver. You are going to take this, and there we go. You see it just slots on, and you just take it down until you start seeing it. There we go, it's just starting to move there. So it's now at the point where any adjustment will actually adjust the idle. So you're at full throttle, and you're also now adjusting your closed throttle position so that it stays idling. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the airbox back on, and clearly within that task also includes putting these hoses. These ones actually slip on a lot easier than they are when they come off, and they are just essentially crank race breather vents so that your emissions are pretty good. So that's on. So that's that one on. That's this one on. I'll probably do that a bit better. You can always tighten it up a bit better at the end. I would suggest sometimes just leaving those hoses a little bit loose, and the main reason for that is if you're having to take it apart again for further cleaning. So the air screw, once you've actually back assembled, you'll notice is on the top there. So your two adjustments that you can do with your special screwdriver is that one there, which is your idle, and your air screw there. I've set mine currently to 1.5 turns out, and we will see how far off mark I am. That's assuming I get this thing to run. At the moment, like I say, it hasn't run, and I always aim off. If you've got spark, you've got oil, and you've got fuel, I mean obviously your two others are, you know, air and compression, then really I think you're 90% of the way there. It's just your old classic suck, squeeze, bang, blow. But assuming it's a motor that has run and then it stopped running, you know, over a long storage period, which is normally the case, a lot of time it's fuel, it's stuff gummed up in there, it's crystallization and so on. Okay, so got it assembled up. I've literally all I've got left off is the air cover. I've got the choke on full. I've now switched the ignition on. I've put some fuel in, and I have primed the float bowl. If you're not getting any fuel in there, it's a pretty good indicator that you might still need to go in and clean some stuff out, but mine actually primed up quite nicely. And let's see if she runs. So I'm going to take a little bit of throttle because I'm not quite sure what the idle adjustment is, and I'm still on full choke. And once, if it runs, then what we'll do is we'll start looking at doing the other idle adjustments and air screw adjustments. So stand by. Oh! Okay, so playing with the choke. Just going to try and play with the air screw a bit. Oh, it's going to play with the air screw a bit there. Okay, so we got it running. Now this is the time where I'd look to start playing a bit with choke and air screw. I've still got float. I mean, that is running. It wasn't doing that before. So I'm going to give it a little bit of idle. You can always take idle off, but it's worth finding out where you're going to be with it. So I'm actually back to pretty much normal jogging. I'm actually going to go take it up and give it a good run through now. So what I ended up finding out was I had to have it at full throttle in there, and basically I just had to play around there going open and closed. Closed until it started choking, then I opened until it started choking, and then I just went in between until it started coming nice. And then the key thing really is you start taking your hand off the throttle and allowing it to try and get back to idle. And when it gets to idle, at that point there you can determine whether it's idling, and you just adjust that in and out. If it's sitting too high, then clearly you've got another, then you just take a little bit off. So